You're watching Sherlock being fed by bottle. You might notice the bottle is bigger because their mouths are getting bigger, so we're now using small sized human baby bottles to feed them, and they're doing quite well with it. It occurred to me during last night's 3 a.m. feeding that you can kind of go into a very relaxed state while everything is quiet around you and all you're doing is watching these puppies feed from a bottle. It's almost like a Zen experience. So I decided that we're going to try something a little bit different here. You're going to have about 8 or 9 minutes of this wonderful, peaceful experience watching the puppies nurse. But while that's going on, the audio is going to be something that I really have neglected for some time. We've had questions submitted for Ask the Breeder from weeks back, and I've been so busy giving puppy reports that I haven't had a chance to address them. So I'm going to try to address a few of those right now. If you just want that peaceful, easy feeling, hey Eagles fans, then why don't you just turn the volume down to 0 and listen to it some other time? Otherwise, you can multitask. First question comes from Vicky, who wants to know what's the best way to introduce a new puppy to the dogs that are already in my home. Well, there's no way to avoid the fact that the established dogs in your home are going to sniff that dog up and down and sideways and try to figure out who the heck this is and what they're doing there. But you can sort of ease the situation. What I've done in the past, on those rare occasions that I had to bring a new puppy into the house, is to keep the dogs indoors, go out to my safely fenced yard, and put the puppy out there in the yard. Let the puppy walk around a little bit, and then allow my dogs to come out, and they will discover the puppy. They won't see the puppy as an interloper coming in so much as a strange dog they've never seen in their yard that's been there already. And after they do all their sniffing and everything, especially Cavaliers, they have the kind of a temperament where they will accept the new puppy very readily. Our next question comes from WT, who wants to know what we do to eliminate car nausea. I'm assuming WT is talking about car nausea on the part of the dog, not on the part of the human that's in the car. And we've experienced that. Our boy Jamba, when he was younger, suffered from severe nausea anytime we took him on a road trip. And he's a show dog, so he went on a lot of road trips. Nothing like arriving at a show venue and having to clean up all the vomit and try to do the best you can to make the dog presentable for the ring. What we discovered was that when he looks out the side window of the car through his crate, I think that motion makes him sick. So when we put him in the car, we put a pad or a towel inside the crate for him to be comfortable with. But we also put a towel completely over the crate so that he can't see out of the car windows in any direction at all. Now, I don't know if it's because he got older or because that worked, but ever since then, we've actually been very successful with eliminating his vomiting on the way to a dog show. Next, Madeline wants to know, how can I ensure that my dog is cared for if something should happen to me? Well, this is something that actually I've been thinking about a lot. You know, I'm no spring chicken anymore, and some of my dogs may very well outlive me. My wife Katie and I have made sure that in our will there's a statement that says what will happen to our dogs, and they are co-owned by our daughter and our granddaughter, so I don't see a problem there. But I've seen cases of other people who haven't really thought it through, where the surviving family members can't care for the dog and they don't know what to do. Well, if you've gotten your dog from a good, reputable breeder, that breeder would consider it a lifetime commitment to make sure the dog is taken care of. And you can check with the breeder and make sure that they are willing to take on that responsibility. We actually put a clause in our contract when we place a dog stating that if anything should happen where the dog can't be taken care of, it would come back to us for care or rehoming. And then we have a very short statement that we ask people to fill out, sign, and place with their wills and other important papers, which states that if I am not able to care for the dog any longer, then breeder so-and-so should be contacted at this email address or phone number or whatever to take care of rehoming or taking care of the dog themselves. Our fourth question was submitted by Chris, who asks, how do I stop a puppy from chewing on an older Cavalier's ears? Now, this is pretty common. In fact, very often, older Cavaliers will chew on other Cavaliers' ears. Usually, it's because there's something in those ears that is very good smelling or tasting to them, and they want to eat it. That means that the best thing to do is to make certain that the chewee does not get anything in its ears. Best way to prevent them from getting anything in their ears while they're eating is anytime they're eating, and that would include treats, make certain that their ears are covered. There are things called snoods, and you can actually Google snood. You'll find some really nice handmade ones on Etsy.com. If you search on Etsy for Cavalier snood or something along those lines, you'll find ones that fit very nicely. If you have a snood, then you put that on your dog's ears anytime the dog is eating. That would include treats, and make sure it stays on as long as they're eating, and then take it off as soon as they're finished. And then that will prevent any of those fragments or little residues of food from getting in their ears. The final question I have is from Janet, who wants to know, how many litters would one of your girls have in her lifetime? Well, our club code of ethics states that we will not allow any of them to have more than 6 litters in their lifetime, but in all practicality, for myself, I feel that that's really kind of overdoing it unless you have a very, very special dog that you need to get something from to perpetuate those good qualities. Most of the time, I would prefer 2 or 3 litters in the dog's lifetime. It's rare that we've gone beyond that. I don't think I've ever gone beyond 4 or 5. And we also space them out after 2 consecutive seasons. We would not breed them on the 3rd season. We'd give them some time off. And since the seasons come about every 6 months, well, that gives them like a year off. Well, thank you to those people who submitted questions. I'm so sorry it took so long to get to them, but it looks like Watson is about to finish, so I hope you enjoyed the peaceful experience of watching them nurse, and I hope you also gained a little bit of knowledge.